This is a special edition of Wolves Weekly. I'm Al Della Chica. When an emergency comes to campus, there are many things that the leaders of Newberry College have to think about. Foremost is the safety and well-being of more than 1,400 students, especially those who live in on-campus housing. What happens when the power goes out? How do you keep students fed? How do you keep them safe? In the first of our special reports about Helene's aftermath, we learn how a college responds when disaster strikes.
Well, my first thought was I was kind of shocked by all the down power lines and the trees. It was very devastating. It's very surreal to see a campus a few days before it's bright, sunny, green, and everything's blooming, and then the next day everything's on its side on the ground. So it was kind of like a okay moment. There's things we have to do, and so that's where I immediately jump into that emergency response mode. Essentially, start saying, okay, what do we need to do to make sure the students are safe, they're in a good spot, they're inside the residence halls, do they have food to be able to eat, can they access the basic needs that they have. Obviously, we can't control power because we're not a power company, but power and internet obviously being out. So what else could we do for them to kind of take their mind off of, I don't have internet, I don't have power, I can't do the basic things I'm so accustomed to doing.
Housing played a big role in the behind the scenes of what comes next. And they deserve all the respect, all the praises, because they did absolutely amazing. And it's something that we really don't touch base upon, because as students, all we saw was like, the power's out, this sucks. But for them, this is like, wow, we now need to come up with what's next.
We know that there are some students that are having some issues with some of their houses were damaged. So there's a conversation of how do we, make sure they're able to continue to have class with what they've got going on. There's going to be a lot of flexibility, from my understanding, because you can't really plan for this kind of storm. Like, you can have your basic stuff, but you don't. It's all the other things that happen afterward that you don't really prepare for. So. The biggest challenge was the communication. It's, because we rely so much on phones, text messages, social media, getting information out was innately hard originally. So that's where we kind of came together. We had a little bit of an emergency response group that came together basically starting Thursday when we canceled class, every day after that, to kind of just assess where we're at as a community. What messages need to go out? Of course, we utilize our social media, but it's also students on campus aren't getting it because they have down, so that's where we came up with the pen paper. We start putting notes on doors. We visually did checks with students in our housing, off-campus housing, the college-owned properties, and just kind of really utilizing our RAs. I would say our RAs have been rock stars in all of this because they had to be on fire watch because of the power being out, so they're constantly just going around just making sure everyone's okay. So it's the students help the students.
I would say the biggest challenge for me was actually stepping up into a leadership position, because for me, when I went through, let's say, a hurricane or losing power, I was always at home. And my parents were the ones that stepped up, and they made sure that I had what I needed, food, whether it be like just be comfortable at night, be somewhere where I can sleep. So to be someone that had to step up to a position and help other people, that was something new for me.
The most challenging thing, I think, was wanting to do more, but not sure what was needed at the moment.
I had a student knocking at my door, just asking me if I could take her somewhere to charge her phone. Of course. I have access to my car. I had a full tank of gas, and I know that some people were wanting to save their gas because they didn't have access to go to a gas station, or they didn't have a full tank of gas. So I was more than willing to take anyone who needed to charge their phones, which allowed me to have new conversations that I've never experienced before, get to meet people that I've never even talked to before, which was great.
We came together in a time of need, and we were able to address everything that was coming. Every hit that was coming, we were able to kind of walk through it, work through it, and make sure that, again, the number one priority is the safety of the students, safety and security. So making sure our security officers are on top of things, making sure our RAs are, our student affairs staff, and our administration, all the way up to the president, just coming together and just working through and having conversation about what is happening. I think it also goes a secondfold, the resilience of our students. You know, they don't get a lot of credit saying, hey, students in general nowadays are not viewed as being resilient, but I can honestly say the Newberry College students were resilient. They made the best of this situation. They helped clean up the campus. They helped each other. They leaned on each other. And that, I think, is the most proud moment for me, because they were able to say, we care about each other and we're going to help each other.
I think what's impressed me more was their work on Friday, being able to help with the cleanup efforts. And we've organized some folks to go around Newberry to help faculty and staff with cleanup in their yards. And that servant heart that I see in our students is really important, and I see that shining right now as students want to help and want to serve the community around us.
I feel like before this hurricane, we were all really secluded to ourselves. I mean, obviously everyone had their few little cliques. But I think now, after Hurricane Helen, it's going to change the community of Newberry for the better. I think it's going to be more of a community feel, especially with Newberry College. We're talking to each other more. We're getting to know each other more. We're listening to each other's stories. So yeah, I truly believe that the community at Newberry College will change for the better, and I cannot wait to be a part of that.
Power was restored to the main campus Sunday afternoon, and Oakland Mills got its power back the next day. Classes resumed on Thursday, though some students returned home to be with their families until conditions stabilized on campus. Wolves Weekly will continue in a moment.